Right, welcome back, part 3, Crash mountain bike, double mountain bike, can't remember what we called this set. So we're into part 3 of this one now. Going to take this one down off the stands. There's not a lot more I can do with this one until the derailleur, the 2 derailleurs have come. I did have a look last night and I dropped on Lucky, and Chain Reaction was selling some SRAM X3 7-speed derailleurs for a massive whopping £4.99 each. So I am the luckiest spanner monkey ever, because that's just got me out of a massive hole. So they're on order. They should go straight on. They are compatible with these because I think these are the shifters for the X3. So job's a good one. So we've got front and back. So works good for me. So we'll just take this one down and we'll get another one up, and I'll bring you back when I've cleared a bit of space, because there's rather a lot of bikes down there and I'm going to need to move back. Right, shifted all the bikes. We are in a bit of a mess. Let's put the safety strap on, even though I'm probably going to take it off in a minute to do the brakes. Probably won't fit this one because it's too long. There are only 2 long ones. Let's see if we can make it fit anyway. Nope. Yep. Right, that's it. So first job for this one, let's get that chain off. Yep, so that's the problem. You can see we are quite comfortably through on the second wear. I think we're just on the edge of the first wear. Yeah, so it's probably got, yeah, it's just on the edge of that. So we've caught that one just right. Actually, that's exactly where you want to be taking them off. So you're through the first wear and just, you know, but not through the second wear, so you're in between the two. I think I've mentioned this before. Flipping by one of them, because it will save you a fortune. Even on the cheaper group sets, you're probably still looking at about 30-40 quid to replace one of them, and replacing one of them on the back is an absolute nightmare, because you've got to buy specialist tools. So there's a lot of bike shops that will pull a face at even touching that wheel, because that's not a standard fitting on there. I know, because I've already had it off. So a chain, about a tenner for one of these. So you should be able to get on these group sets probably 4 or 5 chains before you need to replace either one of them, and that depends on your wear patterns as well. If you're just sitting one gear there and one gear there all the time, you're going to get less. If you vary up and down your gears quite regularly, you'll get a bit more. That's just how it works. Right, let's find the posh one. Let's use, oh, I forgot about that one. Shall we use this one? Right, so just going to pop the chain off. Let me move you over a bit so you can see what I am up to. Come on, focus, focus, focus. There you go. Right, so I think you're about there, aren't you? So we're just going to pop it off. Either of these will do. Just pick a link. I've already had a look. There's no split. Actually, I don't know on this one. I checked on the other one. There wasn't a split pin. I don't think there is on this one. Supposed to have had a new chain, but this does look suspiciously like exactly the same brand of chain that was on the other one. So I don't know. I might be being a bit suspicious, but it definitely is changing anyway. Some people ride much harder than others and don't get as much life out of them. It's not a crossing thing, this is a wear that way. If it was sloppy that way and you were getting poor gear changing performance, that's because of crossing. So that's when you're going big cog to big cog, little cog to little cog. More big cog, to be honest, because you're stretching the chain more. There you go. Another one for the chain wall of shame. In fact, I don't think I've got a chain wall of shame anymore. I think I threw them all out. Right. Scrap bin for you. Yes, I know I ought to have some gloves on. Back in the specialist box. Right. Should we give this a bit of a clean up? Because it's a bit acky. The trouble is I want to be careful with this. I don't want to squirt this all over. What did I do with it? Is this it? Yeah, put the right one on, not the degreaser. To say that doesn't work, that's dragging. that's quite funny. Right, so I'm just going to wang a bit of degrease and ton, just give it half a chance, and I can get it clean. So just in case you're wondering, that's just normal car engine degreaser. It's about 1/10 of the price of the muck off or bike stuff. So you can get it online in a big bucket full. It's Gunk Ultra. You can thin it down, or you can just use it neat. I use something similar in the parts washer. It is organic as well, so I think it's based on citrus acid. And I also use a similar product in the parts washer. I don't use chemical solvents. One, because they're bad for the environment. Two, because they ruin my skin. But the main reason is because they're expensive. If you want my honest view. So we're just going to give this a quick rat off so we can get some of the surface muck off. Well, I'm conscious I've got my eyes in. Just trying to keep my arm out of the way of it because I don't want to get covered in it. That's looking better already. Right. Probably don't need to worry about that too much because that's coming off. And I've just realised I've chucked the, that's as bad as the other one. That's properly, I suspect they've been using that sticky grease. So I'll just give it a quick wipe down, just all the areas I'm going to have to touch. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about the derailleur because the derailleur's coming off. I'll get some, get it a bit cleaner around here. I like this bike. It's you can tell it's had a few battle scars, and that's what I like to see. You buy a bike to be ridden. You don't buy a bike. You get the same mentality going on with motorbikes as well. And I think I once heard, and apologies for this, it's a bit crude, but it's about people who don't ride the motorbikes or ride the mountain bikes or the bikes because they're worried about how much they're going to sell it for when they eventually sell it. And I think one of my motorbike friends, I may have said this before, his comment is, if it was your girlfriend, you wouldn't have sex with her to keep, you wouldn't stop having sex with her to keep her fresh for the next bloke, would you? And I think that's exactly it. Ride it, enjoy it, and sell it. Or ride it until the wheels fall off and then buy another one, which is where Jerry comes in. That's exactly what she does. Rides it until the wheels fall off, and that's how it should be. Right, we can get a chain on that. We do need the old chain. I prematurely threw it out, so we'll just stick that there. And we'll crack open the new one, which is over here somewhere, I think. The old one. So what we can do, we can chuck the old bits in here so we keep them separate. So I can't remember well they're down here. You probably can't see this. I'm just chucking all the bits that we took off yesterday into this box so that they're all safe. That's it. That's that bit. And we should have 2 plugs. I think I put the other plug in the other one. Just let me, I'll just go and put this in the other bike. Yep, I know you're all saying that was a pointless thing to do because they're all going to have to come off to put the new shifters on when they... Sorry, they're not going to have to put... Well, because we're not taking the shifters off now, are we? We bought a derailleur instead. So that's good, don't need to worry about that. When I did the bleeding yesterday, I was unsure because there seemed to be a bit more travel than I would have expected for new levers and obviously new levers, new pads. And you're always a bit wary when you've bled them that you might have left some in. They felt hard enough, they didn't feel like they were spongy in any way, but you're always a bit wary. One of the other bikes we've got in has actually got the same set of Clark's brakes on. There's even more travel on them, so I'm guessing I've done alright with them. So I'm quite happy with that. I did check that I'd bled them in the right way. There's some instructions on the website about how to do it, and I did check, and I've probably been more thorough with the way I did it than the way they explained to do it. The way they can do it, you potentially can get a bit of air creeping back in, but like I said, it does bleed its way out to the top. Right, I think I've cleaned that as much as I can be arsed. All I've got to do now is find the chain. So another brand new chain for this one. I'm rather liking these KMC chains. What are you looking? Yeah, I rather like these KMC chains. I think it's about a tenner from, it was either Amazon or Chain Reaction. It's a bit of a toss-up where I get stuff from. I tend to try and buy from Chain Reaction, but the only downside to Chain Reaction is I have to wait a couple of days. And then I'm at the mercy of their couriers as well. Whereas nearly lost them then. They keep them in there, and as I popped it up and they jumped out, but they landed in there, so that's alright. So we'll just chuck them in there so I don't lose them. And what I need to do now, some nice looking instructions, which we don't need. I've had these chains before, so I know that they're pretty universal. I think the 11-speed version of the KMC, which I have experimented with, and I'm still holding the jury out on that, because generally I say if you've got Shimano, buy Ultegra or 105, and if you've got Shimano, get the equivalent Apex or which is the carbon one, Rival, no, Force. So ideally get the Force chain because they're the better chains. But these KMC chains, they're not cheap, but they are quite good value compared to those brands. So if you do want a cheaper alternative, these are a cheaper alternative. How did I manage to do that then? I have no... That's not right. Come on, get your head. So what we need to do first, before we do anything else, is get these to the right length. So the way to do this, and you can see it's stretched, it's gained a couple of mil there already. So same again. That's them two. Same again, and it's going to be the outer, so it's that one we need to knock off. So I'll just chuck that over there. Find my chain extractor. So you've got to allow for the fact that when you pop, don't go to the next link, which was the one that was through, because that one didn't have a split link, so there's always an extra the extra link on it. So cut it to the next centre back, because you're going to make that link there out of the joining clips that I've just chucked in there. which is one of the reasons why I suspect that that wasn't a new chain, because I couldn't see a split pin on it or a split link, and I couldn't see a break off link, because the technology we had before we had these nice quick release links was these kind of sacrificial pin. It's like a long pin, you put it in and then you snap the end off. Right, let's just make sure I get that somewhere near where that is, which I think's on that one. Get that puppy. I do like a new chain. You can't beat a new chain. Right, just going to make sure we get this the right side of that tag, because that won't be the first time I've done that. And we'll try method number 52 of how to thread these through without losing your fingers. And without doing something stupid. Right, so that one's good. Get rid of that. And we'll use the fancy one. Sorry, I'm talking to the wall again. Have I plugged your microphone in? Yes, I have. Right, so this is my favourite one. I think it's a fat spanner. From before, fat spanners were really stupidly expensive. I've had it a long time and it's still working. Because if any of you have done this regularly, you'll know that most of these are made out of the finest quality Chinesium and aren't very good at all. So let's just... Alright, so we can just windle that across here. So that's why I was using this. I don't need to crimp this, but it's got little nice handy gadgets in it for doing that. What I do need is this, and I've just realised because I'm using this, I've put this in the wrong way up. So we'll just quickly stick that in there, stick that in there. What we're going to do is just drop that in there. Now I seem to remember there is a direction for these, or if there is, it's on an arrow. Right, these don't have a direction, so that's good. So that's it, so they're shimmed together. If I can get the flipping thing off. So that's it, they're in. I'm just going to pop it apart if it's going to let us. Huh. That went in rather easily. Just check that. That went in far too easy. I didn't even feel it. That's gone in. Maybe they're just easier to put together than the Shimano ones. So I'll stick that back in there. Put it back in there so I don't use it. Just see how that. Nice. Yeah, I did have a look at this last night. We might as well. You might as well have a quick look up here while I'm talking at you. So one of the things I was toying with last night is just to see if I could just take all this off and take the brakes out, and then just have the changer on there. But it really isn't an option. So. Unfortunately, I mean, what I could have done was just knock that rivet out and taken the shifter, the actual brake lever out, and then you would have just been left with the two shifters. But it would have just looked untidy. You know, I've seen somewhere people have cut bits off and hacked bits off. You know, we could have started getting into stuff like that, but I think this isn't a bad solution that we've come up with. we'll see. We might have to get into that if this next idea doesn't work properly. Still got to tighten that headset bearing up, that's loose. Right, so that's the chain done. Let's have a quick look at that again. Look at that. I do like a new chain. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But don't worry, that's covered in crud. That's coming off. So I'll just need to make sure the chain was the right size. The next derailleur on won't make any difference. Still be the same size chain. It's the front and rear cogs that determine that. That's just there to keep a tension on and to move the chain up and down. So job's a good one. Let's crack on with the brakes then. Shall we do front or back first? We're gonna have to spin it round anyway. So right, we'll do this one the other way round to the one I did last night, because I realised I did most of it with my back to you. Let's just rescue them, get them out of the way. Where's my scruffy rag? I keep rescuing this one. It's been in the bin twice, and I keep pulling it out. Just give them a quick do over. Haven't done the front forks yet. There we go. Should make life a little bit easier. Right, let's strip these down as quickly as possible. So again, what we did yesterday, we've got to get all the gears off, all the brakes off, pull the cables through. I'm not going to faff around like I was last time. Where's the clippers? Clippers. Oh, there they are. Yeah, I'm not going to muck about with these, we'll just cut them off. Right, we will leave that on there so I know which one's which. Brakes. That one's good. So again, if you've not seen these are a special set of pliers for brakes. So that's for cutting your sheathing. I think you can cut something through there as well. That's for cutting your actual outers. Right, and then when you've cut them, because it crushes it a little bit, you use that to straighten them out. You push it in there, you rag it round, and it straightens everything back out again. And those there are for crimping your brake cable end covers and your gear cable end covers, so that you crimp them in there like that, and that's it. Quite a useful tool. Could do with a bit of WD-40 on it actually. I think it's suffering a bit. Better. Right, let's get them out. 5mm. And I don't know what make these brakes are. I'm actually guessing that they are Clark's brakes, even though they're Shimano brake levers. Yeah, they are Clark's brakes. Let's have a look at these, see how bad these are. Actually, these aren't that bad, but he did say he doesn't use his front brakes, but the front brake didn't work either, rather interestingly. So that's one for the goodie box. We'll get them off in a minute with the thing. Just got back one to do. of the way so I don't damage these. Oh god, they were heavily corroded, weren't they? The other bike was fine, this one's really corroded up. Right. Family have gone out shooting tonight. It's I didn't fancy it. It's a bit cold. Where they go is an old disused factory. It's a proper shooting range, but it's very cold. So you just end up stood around listening to ting, ting, yeah, ting, ting, ting all the time. Oh dear, right. And we haven't swapped this one round, so this has got the old derailleur on it. Oops. Come on, come back in. No! It's all gone wrong. Oh no! I knew that was going to happen. I was trying to hold about 50 different things in my hand then, and then I failed to hold any of them. And that's rolled off into the grate. Fortunately it's a standard size. I ain't going to be using it. That's annoying though. Right, we'll stick a nylock on that one. Fortunately I've got a load of them. It's not the right size. And it's a decent, and it'll be a 10mm as well, if that's the right size. Nope, next size down. Great, you can never find one when you want one. I'll just take one off the broken one. That's the way we roll. Right, that's done. That can come off now, and then that's it, I think. So I wasn't gonna video tonight. I was gonna have a night off, and I was thinking about going to the shooting range, but I've got so many bikes stacked up, and I'm away this weekend, so don't be thinking about coming and burgling us, because by the time I post this I'll be away and back again. I do need a massive skip out in here. They look a bit better than the other ones anyway. Does that one spin? No, that's good. Right, I think we're ready to go. We've just got to get these off now. So same drill as before, we'll blow them off. Apologies, this is going to get noisy. So let's try. I wonder if we can do it from this side. It might be easier. was easier. There we go. Right, I'll get the other one off without you watching. Just having a quick rummage because one of the ends was missing. So I've got a box of varying assortment of ends and bits and bobs that I've collected. I knew I'd got some somewhere, so I've put one in there for that. So a quick tidy up. We're getting a bit out of hand. Gone. Right. Still haven't got that off. I will. Remember what I was saying yesterday about as soon as you turn the camera off, that whoosh, just flew straight off. If I'd have done it with the camera on, I'd have been wrestling the bike backwards and forwards all over the place. Right, let's get them off. Enough procrastination. I think it was that one, wasn't it? Yep. That one's off. I am going to take them to pieces just to see exactly what is under that, but that bit there is definitely metal, so that bit can't come off, and that, oh no, that is connected to that, so you'd have that big lump of metal sticking out there. That's just a plastic cover, so no, it's not viable. It's annoying. There you go. Oh yeah, and we need to leave that one on so that we don't lose it. Put that one down there. I've got one more to do because I had forgotten to take this one off. I don't even know if you can see me. I'm round the back. Let's get this one off. We'll leave the, as I did before, we will leave the, oh yeah, you can see everything. I'll leave the cable there so we don't lose it. We've got the other cable in there so we know which one's which, so we don't get them mixed up either. I've chucked my spanners that I will be looking for later all over the floor. So let's get these on now. This frame is slightly bigger than the other one. That really is a bit of a... let's tighten that up now before I forget. Oops. Yep. They were loose as well. So if that's loose, it's no wonder it's probably bent that out of the way. Right. Yeah, ignore that. Remember with these, when you're torquing them back up again, you can torque this one to a bit more. It's a metal steel tube, metal steer tube, and a metal. It's not even an alloy. It's a steel arrangement, so it's welded and pressed. Right, so that should be... That feels way better already. It was so slack you could feel it leaning on the bearings. I still think he's compensating for something there. Let's get the new ones out. Just walk into it. Why don't you? Quick look at the... Do you know, I wish they'd just put a red light on the front so you could see it was recording. The red light's on the back. Yeah, put them back. Get these out. Before we stand there for half an hour having one of my dyslexic moments. So that is the 7-speed. So that goes on that side. Something like that. Look at that, straight on. And that one goes on that side. 7-speed first then. Well, that went well, didn't it? Can't even find the end. What is that bit? I was pulling that bit. Got to be very careful how you untangle it, that you don't put a kink in it. I don't know how that's managed to do that. Anyway, so we already know these were a bit corroded, so I am going to feel as they feed down just to make sure that there's nothing going to cause any problems there, and that feels good. So we'll chuck that in there like that, and then clip it into one of these. Not that one. No, that one. Not where I thought I was going with that. Nothing else to nothing to avoid down here. Straight up. Put it at the right side of the chain. There we go. That was almost too easy, wasn't it? Just check we are where we should be. Yep, that's good. Pointless me fastening it on because that's coming off. Just leaving it on to hold the chain, to be honest. So what I will do though is I will just tidy that up a bit. I can't do much with that. Other one. You don't think I used to work in sales? Technical sales, that is. Well, I didn't really. I was just there to make sure the salesman didn't deviate and sold what they were supposed to sell. Actually, I'll be honest, I'm probably the worst offender for not listening to what I'm told to sell and selling what I think the customer wants. I stick to our product set, but if somebody said don't bid something and I think we can make some money out of it, I'll still have a look at it. I'm saying it does get me into a bit of trouble every now and again. Right, so we're going to try that the other way over. Try it that way and see if that makes it a bit better to use. Oops. Just checking that it's down where it's supposed to be. Just going to nip it up, not going to do it a lot because so what I've done this time, there is actually a retainer there, so I'm just hooking it over the top of that to lift it clear of that piece down there. We'll see how that goes. If it works, what I'll do is I will continue to thread it round the other side and bring it out this way, and we'll get a full loop round there, so it'll put plenty of pressure on it. But I think that is good. I'll just shove that down there out of the way so it doesn't get damaged. Right, that's the cables on. Now, question is, do I do the wheels first or do I do the... Now we'll get the brakes in. Let's get the brakes on. Let's get the brakes on. Now it's time for the brakes. Them's the brakes. Right. Should we do the front brake first? Now this one might fit because it is slightly a bigger bike, but then again it might not. So there should be some screws in here. Same kit as before. Really nice kit these, for what they cost, 50 quid. For front and back disc brakes. I mean, that's an absolute steal. Flipping Shimano will cost you 50 quid just for the flipping rotors alone. Yeah, there you go. One of these. There's 60 quid right there. 120 quid for that. They're up there as souvenirs, by the way. They're not going to be reused. They are below 1 mil thick, so you can't use them anymore, sadly. Right, let's go collect all my tools up so I'm not wandering around the workshop forever looking for them all. And I don't know if I mentioned this last time, just in case you could possibly get it wrong, there is actually an arrow that shows direction of travel. Trust me, especially in the early days of disc brakes, I have seen some really weird and wonderful setups. Just because it fits doesn't mean it's right. One of our other friends says, if I fits, I sits. Well, in this case, you don't. I'm about due for a new set of these Allen keys. I've had them about probably about 15 years now, and some of them they've already had the balls cut off the ends because they've got chewed up. The Torx one I destroyed yesterday, so that's going to need replacing. There you go, they're all nice on. Try and do this the other way round this time, so we can try and influence where this cable ends up by putting some twist in it. I really don't like them them clips there. Nope. No, just wants to sulk. So I'd normally have a tie wrap there and a tie wrap there. You know, and you could argue that this is probably okay for this one. It's not as displaced as it was on the other one, because the other one it was coming off right at an angle there, and I was a bit concerned about it. So we'll just do that. We'll tie wrap them up. 1, 2. Means we're not relying on that funny little metal clip thing there pinning this in place, which worries me somewhat. We will go around and give these all a good tug with the spanner later. Right, so that's that one done. I think I'll take the executive decision. I'm not going to bother cutting that one down. I think we're alright with that one. Potentially I could chuck it over the other side of that. Don't think it needs it though, to be honest. I think we're fine there. There we go, done it anyway. Put this back on. Bit of valeting cream in there again. Look at that, perfect. Right. I think that's roughly in the right position. It probably wants to go a bit lower actually. We'll set them up properly when we get the bite down. No, these were exactly the same, weren't they? So what we worked out was if you put that in there and then take it round until it hits, that's about roughly where you want it. So you've got just enough room to get the Allen key in without eating anything. Right, second set. Now these are the ones we will have to cut down. Doubt whether this bike's that much longer. We had to take quite a bit off these. So I used to have a test jig when I used to do this on the motorbikes. I used to have a test jig that you could set up where that was clamped somewhere, that was clamped somewhere, and you could keep that upright, you could keep that upright, and then you could bleed the brakes, and all the air was kept near the bleed chambers. But I haven't got anything set up really for mountain bikes to do that. I really don't like the way these are curled up, so I'm slightly tempted to give these a bit of heat just to see if I can get this out of it, because that caused a lot of problems yesterday. So we'll just dangle it and see if we can get it to go straight. Not very, very straight, is it? Well, I suppose it is a bit. That is a little bit straighter. I'm going to tap this in a bit now. Could have left it hung up at the side of a radiator or something. That probably would have done the same thing, let gravity do it. That's a little bit better. It's more this top bit up here that causes most of the problems. Nearly there now. Just get this last bit, especially that kinky bit at the end there. You see that straightening on its own. It's exactly what we wanted. You don't want to get it too hot, you don't want to boil the mineral oil off, but you'd have to go some to boil this off, to be honest. Right, let me just quickly reset. Sorry, I forgot to turn you on. Right, I've just doused the back end with brake cleaner just to clean off all the brake fluid that was on there. I've just given them a quick test. They actually feel spot on then. I'll know more, but they don't feel any different to the front brakes, which I haven't messed with. So I think we're pretty good with that. So I'm quite happy with that. Seems we did the other one. Only be right. I don't clean bikes, just a reminder. So I can break the mudguard now though. Crack and smack the mudguard and then depend to buy a mudguard to replace it. Because that's what the law of sod says will happen. Right, that's all good. Let's stick them end plugs in before we forget. End plug. So both sets of end plugs in, everything's good. Grips will settle down when that finishes coming out. Let's get these wheels stripped off. So what we're same as the other ones, all we're going to do is just whiz them out and stick the new rotors on. You can see these have been, there's quite a big ridge there, so these have been cutted in, so they're probably reusable. They've got loads of service life left on them, but not with them. We've got new rotors. I like breaking my tools, taking rotors off, so we'll crack on. In fact, you can come and watch this time. It's always good for a laugh. Cool. Right, so probably bring you back. It says the bits are on order. I can't see them. You can see that's on the new bottom bracket. Sorry, I'm waffling. Sorry, miles away. I just thought I put the brakes on the wrong way round, but I haven't. I've put them on the right way round. Front brake over there, motorcycle style. Unless you're in Italy, and then they're the other way round. But sorted. Derailleurs are coming. They have been sent. They are on order. I got a confirmation that they've been shipped. They might come before the end of the week, but tomorrow I'm coaching tomorrow night, so it's unlikely I'll get to fit them tomorrow evening. And Friday this weekend I'm away anyway, so it's probably going to be next week sometime before they get fitted. But well, we were hoping to get them shipped before the end of the week, but I'm not even sure they can come and fetch them anyway. But it is what it is. We'll leave it there, and I'll see you when we have derailleur. Right, back on to day 2 of part 3. Bits have arrived, so hopefully these will work. The only challenge we've got is because they are cheaper ones, the wheels are riveted in. So worst case scenario is on one of the bikes you might have to take the rivet out to get the chain on, or pop the chain out and redo the chain. But I'm hoping we're not going to have any issues and that can go straight on. So with that, let's quickly crack on. I am in the middle of doing something else, so I can't clear the workshop today, so I'm going to have to work around everything we've got piled up, which isn't going to make life easy. It's going to mean I can't get to anything, but this job should be fairly straightforward. All I've got to do is just find the link. Come on, where are you? Can I lose the link? I must have gone round. What? Ah, there we go. Found it. That's not the right thing. That's the right thing. Can't take a link off with a wire cutter. Right, just put that somewhere safe so we don't lose it. Same with the other one. Get that off. Oh. Move these out of the way. Just fastening it in. So these are pretty similar to the Tournays. They might be slightly more sophisticated. They've got a few more adjusters, but then they make up for that with some other bits that aren't quite as good. Like you can't take the can't replace or swap out the jockey wheels. Well, you probably could, but you'd be able to re-engineer the connections and everything. Ow, that's got your finger. Sprint pins back, and the little one out way. Yep, makes life much more easier if it's on the little one. Oh no, you don't. 1, 2, 3, pull. Right, so I've got a few adjustments to make already. Low, so I'm guessing that's that one. Nope. It's that one. Right. See if that one. Oh, I see what we've done. We've done the. I haven't done that for ages. There's a strengthener. You've got to get it the right side of the strengthener, but it makes a bit of a row. Not the first time I've done it, won't be the last time, and you won't believe how many times I've had bikes come in. There's one bike that I've been to a very reputable bike store around here, one of the larger chain ones, and they'd had a derailleur fitted by them, and it made a right old row. It had been back twice, and they just said, oh, there's nothing we can do with it, and they'd done the same trick. Right. I think that's in about the right position actually. Right, these don't have an adjuster. on the back there's no provision for it. It uses the adjuster up front. So before I fasten this down, I'm just going to make sure that we are in the middle range. I just need to check this as well, because what I don't want to do is cut this down and then find I've got a bit of an issue. No, I need a different one of them. Let's see if I can find a smaller one. Again. Yep. Right, so I found a smaller one. I don't know what that was that fell off there. Right, so that goes over there, around there, and it should clip onto there. It's not the most obvious. Nope, I was right. It does go under. You couldn't see, so I just took it off. It's got a retainer hook at the top to stop it spinning round while you're trying to fasten it up. But it wasn't easy to see where the cable run was. But once you take it off, it's because it's black on black, and I'm blind. And oh, that's what we were going to do. That's the one with 7 on, isn't it? So I'm just going to wind it out a bit, so I've got a bit of play either way. So it just jumped here. No. It's just dropping into the groove. Okay. Oh. Come on, concentrate, Toller. Oh, that'll be why. It's different to all the other ones. First time I've done this, there's actually a retainer loop on the back of that. I guess that's fair to stop it from falling off. Most of them don't have that actually, so I've never seen it on any of the other S-Ring ones. Right, a little bit of slack there. Let's see if I can take that up. Okay, got this long cable. What's it just done there? Oh, I see what's happened. Don't think it was in that properly. God, Bennett, how many times are we going to do this? So, yeah, I suspect that was moving it around the other day. It must have been just hooked on the edge of that clip up there. Right, that's in. That's in. Let's try again. Right, that's jumping slightly. Oh, look at that. So it's worth the risk. It's cost me a £5 per bike to fix that little issuette. Right. Don't think I got any end caps with the kit we had before. Could be wrong. Let me just have a quick check. No, doesn't look like it. It's a bit mean. Luckily, we've still got my 100 pieces of cable ends. So you get a first hand view of what I was explaining. You've seen me do this thousands of times, but for those of you who haven't, we should get 2 crimps just to make sure, and then just take it through the motions just to make sure it's not going to get stuck in anything. They look a bit Bobby Dazzler, don't they? Right, so the only thing I want to do with this one is take it down and just take that loop all the way round. So we got it in a slightly different configuration, and I think actually to make it a bit more robust we can take this all the way around this nut just to give it a bit more purchase. But to do that I'm just going to have to slacken it off a bit. So it jumped under, it has jumped under. Right, so what that's doing is it's going all the way round, but it's going over the top of the catcher. And that catcher doesn't appear to do anything apart from offer somewhere to run the cable behind. But if you take it all the way around there, what it does is it lifts the cable away from that pivot point that we were having the problem with. So if I bring you a bit closer, let's see if I can zoom you in on the issue. Right. So if I put, there's a piece of metal behind there. If I put the cable as it runs up here behind that piece of metal, as this racks that way, that cable starts to foul on that pivot point there. And I've seen this on the other bike I did the other day. So actually if I put this cable over the top of the metal piece and run it round there, so I've got plenty of cable trapped, that actually lifts it over the point of that pivot point. So now if I go and into this top one, you'll see we're actually clear of the pivot point, whereas before we weren't. So that's a happy bunny. Just check it goes up and down the gears. Oh, let's have a close-up of gears. Oh, just look at that. What I will do is I'll just see if I can slacken that off a bit. I don't know if there's any adjustment left in that. I don't think there is actually. Just to see if I could move it a bit lower. Oh, that's why, because it's an Allen key. We could have guessed that. Right, so I've just given it a little bit more so it's not having to pull the chain as tight when it's in the very top one, but you shouldn't be in the top one on there and on there anyway, to be honest. what we'll do is we'll just check, see what it looks like on the bottom one. Yeah, that's okay, that's spot on that, happy with that. Good, 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 good. So that's that one done. All I need to do is just clip that off and put the end cap on that one. Twang. Bear with me. It's twinned all its wires out. Cool. That one's done. Quite happy with that. Right, just got the red. Right, this one to do now. This one's going to be slightly more interesting because I don't think we've got a split pin to go out with this one. No, so going to try something. First, I'm going to have a quick look in my sack, my little emergency bag that I carry over the mountain bike, because I'm pretty sure I bought some 7-speed split. Aha! So I did. I had some 8 speeds. So what I'm going to do is, just to check that they fit, is I'm going to try them on this old chain before I pop the link off there, because if they don't fit, I need to pop the link in a different way. Right, they look like they fit. I was pretty sure that a 7-speed and 8-speed chains are exactly the same. We didn't start getting into silly chain sizes until the 9s. I think all they did was with the 8s is they actually shifted it this way and took a bit more gap there, which is similar to what they did with the 9s and the 10s, but they'd already taken most of the gap anyway. So they went for a slightly, they did have to go for a slightly smaller chain on the 9s. Right, let's just get the good one out and we'll just pop this off. In fact, let's make my life a little bit easier. So we'll hook that in there. That in there. So I've used the chain stretcher, sorry, the chain clasp wire, because we've got to take both ends of this off. So rather than me struggling with the chain flapping around, and then I can just joint it back together when I need it. Right, so I've knocked both pins off, which means we've now got 2 ends waiting to receive the split pin, which is an SRAM split pin, because SRAM were the first ones to start doing it. Right, so I think we can take that off now. So that didn't last on there long, did it? Oh. Still haven't got a pair of scissors, so today we'll use pliers as scissors. I've got a pair of scissors, I just can't be bothered to go and battle my way to the other side of the workshop. Another one. So when you're putting these on, it is important to make sure that if they have got that adjuster, that you lift it up and out of the way so it doesn't get stuck against the hanger, because you can damage the hanger. See, that's out of the way now and it'll drop down, so that's okay, can put that on. No need to put any liquid thread lock on, it's already got some on. That's already fallen off there because it's really helpful like that. Remember to chuck it over the clip, bring it back under, right, drop that in there. Okay, we'll do it that way around then. Right, now we know this works, I don't mind hacking this to pieces. If I can find the clipper. So, cut that off. That's the bit that opens it back up again. And then pull the bit off the floor and hope you can get the end cover off it. Yep. Remembering that there is a little loop to get that into this time. Sure we've not lost anything anywhere like we did last time. Everything where it should be. Wind that back in. So I'm just going to wind that all the way in and then wind it back out. I do like the way they did the detents on that. They actually do it with a physical spring clip rather than the way that Shimano do it with a kind of a cam arrangement, because that cam arrangement tends to go a bit skewy and then it's overly complicated. I'm sure that is as well, to be honest, but let's see if we can get this first time unlike the other one. Let's just have a look, see where we are. Right, that's miles out. Where have I put my screwdriver? Buried under the box. So all I'm looking for is where that sits. I think I've shown it before. See if I can bring you round, so you can see what I'm doing. The trouble is, you're not very much in line there, and I don't think I can. Is that better? The trouble is, now you've just got a face full of tyre. So what we're looking for is that bit there. And as you can see, it's over to this side, and I need to bring it back over to that side. It does want to be slightly this way, but not that far. So it wants to be just off Might have gone too far there. That's it. Let us see if this works. You can stay where you are. This is where I find this is a completely different size chain to the one I've just tested it on, and that this isn't going to work. These SRAM links do take a bit more hooking together. They do claim that you can do it if you're out on the trail, just by giving them a wiggle and a pull, but I think they are way harder. You might be able to get away with that with the Shimano ones, but not these. That doesn't want to know, does it? Let me see if I can give that a bit of gentle persuasion. Trouble is, they've been in the bottom of the cycle bag for quite some time. That's not helpful. Just thinking about it. Just not thinking about it enough. Well, I can see the ends and they are through, so there's no reason why it shouldn't. It shouldn't go. It just doesn't want to go. It wants to pop apart alright, just doesn't want to. I wonder if because the chain's mucky, it's got some muck behind it. It's stopping it from. Definitely does not want to clip. Don't know. I might have to go and have a look for another clip. I've put my tool down. That was a disaster. So, me putting my tool down. Right, I found another clip that's in slightly better nick than the other one. I'm wondering whether the other one's got bent or... And I've cleaned up the chain and cleaned off a load of muck that was there just in case that was stopping it. So, there we go. Yeah, so I don't know what was up with that one. Why that wouldn't work. But that's spot on now. Right. Oops. Might as well have a look at that. You're not even looking at the right place, are you? Shall we start that again? So it's done by eye. I'm getting the hang of these SRAM ones. slightly less aggressive than the Shimano's if you're going to do them by eye. There is a measurement if you go on the website. But I'll tell you one thing, the lower end shifters on SRAM are way more stable than Tourne's. Let's just check the front's still working. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Right, let's just clip that one off. I did the same adjustment to the front one that I've done on the other bike, so you don't need to see that again. So all I need to do is just stick an end on, and we're done with this. We are finished though. What it does need is it needs a spot of oil. That's all you need. You don't need fancy sticky oils. Don't set me off on the sticky oil thing again. Let that run through a bit. Brakes are good. Pleased with them. It's a shame we couldn't find a cap for that though. Let me go and have a look in the spares bucket, see what we've got. Don't think I've got them because I generally smash them to smithereens pulling them off, unfortunately. So that will just have to live. Like I said, if it was, you can buy a screw that's got a cover cap built into it. I did have some kicking around on here, but don't know where. I think I used them on another project, I seem to remember. Yeah, I think we used them on another project. It was that bike of Diane's where we had that. We rebuilt the. Quick look in this bargain bucket. There's a cap at all, it'll be in here. If there's one of them bolts, it'll be in here. This is where all the bits that are salvaged go to end up, or sometimes the bits, they're really cheap. Oh, what's that? What's that? Ha ha! Look at that! Never chuck anything out. Haha, that's right, made my day that. I wasn't even going to look for it. Boom! Done. I was hoping to give the bikes a clean off, but the pressure washer's come down out of the garage. But I haven't got time to do it. It would be really good if I could get the owners to pick these bikes up this weekend while I'm off, because as you can see I am up to my eyes in it in here. I need to clear some stuff out of here. I've got a whole load of other projects I want to work on, and I've got a backlog of bikes. I've had 3 people ping me today wanting to drop bikes off, and I've just had to say no, not at the moment. I've got to clear the workshops because I've ended up with too many. I don't like having this many bikes in the workshop. It's just difficult to work around them, and it's just there's there's more chance that something's going to get knocked over, and shifting bikes in and out all the time is not good. But these are done. I'm really pleased with these, because this is potentially something that we could do for a lot of bikes. So it was a bit of a test run, this one. I stuck my neck out a bit. It might have cost me some money in the end because of these things, but I think they are way better. And given that the original derailleur was bust anyway, and we were going to stick on one out of the parts bucket, she's ended up with a nice shiny one. So I think we'll cut it there. Part 2 is a particularly long video. If I'd realised how long it was, I just put it through the editor the other day, and I hadn't even started looking at it yet, but that's well over 2 hours long. I didn't realise I'd spent so long on it. I probably could have bumped some stuff into this one. This one's probably about an hour long as well. But I think it's I'm quite pleased with this. I think everything's come out all right, actually, considering it's yeah, that's been battered a bit as well. I don't know. Yeah, ask Magdalena about that. But anyway, hope it's been useful. I've probably done something that a lot of people are gonna want to do, but have been a bit worried about it. So this is the Clark's front and rear brake kit, but there's no reason why the Shimano one wouldn't work. It's gone straight on. The only problem, and this is the bit that everybody forgets, is that a lot of the times with those, when you're going from cable to disc, your gear arrangement on here will more than likely have to be changed. So even if you've got a revo shift that's got a separate brake cable, the brake cable on these will not necessarily reach round the revo shift, right? So, and if you've got a revo shift, throw it in the bin anyway. They're flipping awful things to work on, and they don't last very long. But having said that though, some of these indexing things aren't brilliant. So the only thing I've got to do now is just drop it off, just check the wheels are in the right place, and just adjust things. But you don't need to see that, you saw me do that the other day, and then these bikes are ready to ship. Like I said, hopefully that's been useful. We'll have to see how we go. And tune in. We've got the Pinnacle next. We've got to have a look at that. There's a Kona, another off the bottom of the scale thing that somebody's donated. We can have a look at that, see if there's anything on there that's worth salving. Not the Pinnacle, the one behind it, the Falcon. And if not, we'll just strip that down. It'll go in the parts bucket. I probably won't even make a video of that. But we'll see what we find. It was just to see if you could make that was supposed to be going to the tip. Somebody dumped it. So it was said, do you want to have a look at this? And I said, yeah, well, why not? We might be able to make a good bike out of it, and then it's a bike for somebody, isn't it? So we'll cut it there. I'm waffling a bit. If you like what I say, just click on the old subscribe button. I think it's down there somewhere. And more spannering, and hopefully when the weather warms up and I get out of this workshop, we can crack on with some of the goodies you might be able to see in the background. Thanks for watching.